morning, everyone. And we have went through till page number 14 yesterday, so we will continue with page number 14. And then here we are talking about being generous, and especially after knowing that our life is of impermanence and we have no idea how long we are going to live. And even though there are so many conditions that can prolong our life, but these conditions that can prolong our life may also be the reason for our death. And we don't have to say about all the other things, but even the things that is supposed to prolong our life, like the food that we eat. We think when we eat food, it is going to help our life. We are going to be maybe healthier. But if you don't know how to eat, if there is like such excessive fat or maybe something that is harmful to you, something that is not going to be a benefit for you, even the food that we are going to eat can be the cause of death. Even the drinks that we drink, if there are too much sugar, there is possibility of us dying because of the drinks. Even the exercise that we think that when we have enough exercises, then this will make us healthier. I will be able to live longer. But there are again like possibilities of having accidents when we are doing the exercise, maybe in the gym, or even when we go for like hiking, trekking, whatever. So any of these things that we think is going to be of help for us, they might also be the cause of our death. And we don't have to say about all the other things that we do know that might be the cause of our death. After knowing that there are so many possibilities of dying, and the more reason we have for living, there are more than that reason for us for dying. So anything can be the reason for dying, and the more we believe that, it is easier for us to accept that our life is just like a bubble that is being told in almost every text that we read in Buddhism. So even we think that maybe just by walking to a near place, that we might fall or we might have an accident. Even when we run, even when we eat, we might choke on the food that we are eating. So anything can be a possibility for our death. And sometimes people feel that Buddhism can be very negative because all we are talking about is death and death and death most of the time. But we have to know that why we are talking about death. And it is just to make you realize that life is not permanent. We can face death anytime, and we have to be prepared for that. And if we believe that we are not going to face death, then we will never prepare for our death, whether for the death that is coming soon or for the life that is going to be after the death. So almost every text keeps reminding us about death, so we will be prepared. Even if we face death today, we will be prepared. Even if we face our death this week, next year, or whatever, it won't be a problem for us. So all these texts keeps reminding us about our death, so we can be prepared. And then after knowing about death, we feel, or after knowing about impermanence, we feel less attached to our wealth. And then it is very important for us to practice in generosity, because the more stinginess we have, there is possibility of us being reborn as hungry ghost, as it is said in the text. And to prepare or to the practice about generosity, we have to start from something very small, and especially like offering of the water or offering of butter lamps, because these are very, especially the offering of the water, where we offer the 7 bowls of water, or maybe we say 8 offering, like including the butter lamp. Because back in time, water We can just go to the river or maybe stream or maybe a lake, we collect the water and then we make this offering. And even now, even though we do have to pay for water, it is not that expensive. So when we make the offering of water, it is quite easy. And not only that, we don't feel tremendous attachment to the offering of water, because as it is quite cheap. And sometimes, or most of the times, what happens is when we make an offering or when we give something, we have lots of attachment. When we give something to other people or other beings, we kind of feel that they are indebted to us. We expect something in return, and maybe some polite words or maybe some polite actions or whatever. And then because of that, we have attachment, and sometimes when they don't return you the favors, we feel angry. And this kind of generosity may brings you anger or attachment like that. But when we make the offering of water, it is very pure. The first reason is the water itself is very pure. And then the second reason is our motivation is also very pure, because since it is not that expensive, we don't have much attachment when we are making that offering. And especially we are not offering that to someone we know. It is just like offering to the Buddhas or to the deities. We don't feel so much of, or we don't feel like we need to get something in return. We don't have that expectation. So it is very easy and very proper way of doing the generous action. So because of that, now when we are practicing generosity, instead of like making us a problem, we have to act generously so that it is going to help others and also ourselves. So the best is like what is taught here, by starting from extremely small act of generous, where when we do something we don't expect something in return. So like offering of water or maybe offering of butter lamps, and like these small acts, and not only that, but whatever we think is not that of a big deal. So when we do something, we don't expect something in return, and we have to keep doing this again and again. And then later, when we get used to it, then we can move to something little bigger act. Maybe we can offer more things, or maybe offer more whatever we can. And gradually we can be able to make offerings of like the princess, like the prince that offered his body in Namo Buddha. He can offer his body, or maybe something that we feel very precious to us. But right from the beginning, because we learn about generosity, sometimes what people do is they try to offer a lot or maybe give a lot, and then within few days, few months, then they most of the time they regret the offerings that they made. And if you feel regret, then there is not much merit from the offering that you did. All the merit that you gained from being generous will be dissolved by the act of regret that you are going to have. So right from the beginning, you have to use your wisdom, something that will not make you regret. You have to check your motivation properly. So you start with something very small, and then as you practice, you make your offering bigger or higher or whatever you are able to do. And then we are wandering in this samsara till now because we don't believe in impermanence a lot. And then we also believe that there is everything is like it is in front of you. So you believe that everything exists. And as long as we feel like that, we will be here in this samsara. We have to know that everything is impermanent, everything doesn't exist, because we believe everything that is that we see exist. We believe that there is me, we believe there is you, we believe there is my friend, my family, my enemies. And as long as we have this dualistic approach, we will always be wandering in this samsara. So we have to know about all this, that there is no you, there is no me. And then for that, the best practice to start is going to be the practice of impermanence. And then page number 15, we continue with that. All of us know that we are going to face our death, and we have no idea when we are going to face our death, but for now we do have enough time to prepare for our death. So the best or the thing to prepare for our death is paying respect to the three jewels, and we make prayers to the three jewels, and then not only that, we also practice in the six perfections. And then to practice, we have like the relative truth and the absolute truth. And from these two, the first one is relative truth. And for us, since we all believe that there is me and there is you, we have to practice according to that. When we believe there is me and there is you, we all believe in karma, cause and effect. When we do something good, we expect the result to be something to be good. When we do something bad, we expect the result to be bad. But not only that, but we have to have the pure motivation when we are doing something. And not only that, not only for this lifetime, we being a practitioner, at least the least kind of motivation we should be having is for our next life. If we are doing anything for this life, then it means that we are a very normal human being or normal being who is not a practitioner. The difference between a practitioner and a non-practitioner, the way to understand is if you are doing something for only for this life, then it means that you are not yet a proper practitioner. If you are doing something for your next life, then that is like the basic skill or the basic thing to be needed to be a practitioner. So you can be your own judge. So whatever you do, you check yourself. Whether you are doing a prayer, whether you are making an offering, whether you are doing something, if you are only expecting something in this life, like whatever you are expecting in this life, whether it is power, wealth, or position, whatever, then it means that you are not yet a proper practitioner. But from outside, it does look like you are a practitioner. But if you are doing only for this life, then it is 100% sure that you are not yet a practitioner. But if you are doing something for your next life, then it means that you have just become the basic thing needed to be a practitioner. And then in this relative truth, there is karma, cause and effect. We believe in karma, cause and effect. We do something, good actions, and we believe that we will get a good result. So we continue with that. As long as we continue with that, we do good actions, and then in the future we might become a bodhisattva or we might be a Buddha. We do bad actions, then we might be born in the hell or in something or somewhere in the lower realm. And we have to believe that. And not only that, from the text, but even in our normal life, we have to check ourselves. We cannot just say that since we have learned something about emptiness, we cannot say there is no hell, there is no heaven, there is no you, there is no me. When people hear all these texts or all these teachings, most of the people, they tend to not check with themselves. They just think that since it is written in the text, it might be like that. It may not be like that, but you have to check with what is written in the text and what you believe. So it has to go together, not like what you believe in your normal life. So according to what you believe in your normal life, if you believe there's me and there's you, then you have to practice the relative truth. If you believe that there is no dualistic approach, there is no you, there is no me, then maybe you can practice the absolute truth. But as long as you believe there is two individuals, as long as you believe there is a teacher and a student, as long as you believe there is good karma and bad karma, then we are all a student of the relative truth and not yet the student of absolute truth. And then in the absolute truth, like I said, there is no you, there is no me, there is no dualistic approach, and whatever they do, they believe from within that everything is emptiness. And even if we have this kind of approach, we still need to be generous, we still need to practice, we still need to continue with whatever good things we are doing. We cannot just understanding or knowing the absolute truth, we cannot just do whatever we want. We still need to follow the good acts, and we still need to get rid of the bad acts. And then page number 16, another topic. So here we are talking about devotion and conscience. And obviously when these two go together, then the practices will go very properly. And our devotion, obviously, it is very important. Whenever we are practicing, we do need to have devotion. But sometimes because of us, maybe laziness will creep in, and we might not want to practice, or if there is something, a good act, because we feel lazy or we don't want to do that, it might hinder our practice. But when we have the conscience, then it is going to help. Like if we, for an example, you all come to the talk here, and you have the devotion to the teachings, and because of that you come to the teachings, and sometimes maybe tomorrow you will not feel that much of devotion, or you might feel devotion, but you might feel little lazy to come for the talk. So I'm just giving an example of this talk. But since you have been coming here for the last 3 days, and then you have already met few of the other Dharma students, you have talked with them, you know them, and then if you don't come tomorrow, you might feel your conscience might be a little hurt. You might think that, oh, maybe my Dharma friend will say that, oh, how come I didn't join tomorrow? And because of that, even if you don't have the devotion to the Dharma tomorrow, but because of your conscience, it will make you come to the talk tomorrow. So this is just an example, but not only this, but even during other practices, when you are doing your practice every day, sometimes there is like strong faith, strong devotion, where you want to make the prayers, when you want to make the offerings, but sometimes you don't feel that much of devotion and faith, but because of your conscience, you feel that, oh, I have to do that, I have to do this. If I don't do this, then it will make me not a good practitioner. If I look back at myself, I am not going to look proper in my own eyes, or maybe in other person's eyes. So if we feel like that, when we have a conscience, then it is much better if it goes along with our devotion. And the devotion, the example given here is devotion is like the gold, and conscience is like page number 17 on top, right on the top is refining gold with iron sulfate. So that is like the conscience. So even though the gold itself is gold and it is shining, but still if we are able to refine it, the gold will look much proper, much shinier. So just like that, even when we are practicing, it is very important to have not only the devotion but also the conscience. For an example, like in the beginning, when we don't know anyone in the hall, then whatever we do, we don't feel much uneasiness. But as you are in the Dhamma group or in the assembly, as you know more people, and then you feel little uneasy to do activities that is not improper. If you don't know anyone in the group, then even if you fall asleep, or even if you are not listening to the talk properly, you will not feel much uneasy. But as you mingle with other Dhamma friends, And when you know them properly, if you do something uneasy, then you might feel little uneasy when you know that other persons know you. And even like for us, when we are wearing the robes, and when we are not wearing the robes, for example, sometimes if we are traveling, because of course all of us have like a lot of devotion to the robes, but when we are wearing the robes, we try to act, or maybe we try to do good as much as possible. And then there is some certain things that it helps in most of our daily activities. But if we are not wearing the monk's robes, the shyness loses a little. There is huge possibility of doing something that is not improper. So only the devotion, of course, it is very helpful, but to have both devotion and conscience is very important in our daily life. And then the same page, second paragraph, so it is describing about, I think, 4 or 5 different things. So when we have this dualistic approach, and when we think that there's me, there's you, there's good things, there's bad things, there's wealth and all this, when there is a servant, there is a master like that, then it means that we are very ordinary human being or holy person. And then after removing our ego clinging a little, and then whatever you are doing is not for the other sentient beings but for your own benefit, then it means that you are from the foundation vehicle, or Hinayana these days, or some of us what we say is Hinayana practice. And we have to know that even though we say Hinayana or foundation vehicle, there are still way more higher in understanding of the practice than most of us, where we think that because we practice Mahayana practice or we practice Vajrayana practice, sometimes we think that we are all Vajrayana practitioners. But just practicing doesn't make you a Vajrayana practitioner. You have to check your mind whether you are really a Vajrayana practitioners. Because in the Vajrayana practice, what it is said, whether you are really a practitioner or not, you have to check yourself whether when you are practicing, whether you are doing it for other sentient beings. If you are doing that, then maybe there is possibility. Whether you believe a life after death really exists, that also needs to be there. If you don't believe that there is a life after death, but you consider yourself as a Vajrayana or Mahayana practitioners, then that is completely opposite. You can never be a Vajrayana or Mahayana practitioners if you don't believe in life after death. That is very minimum. And then even when you are practicing, you have to believe that all the Dhamma brothers and sisters are like Bodhisattva or Buddhas like that. If you feel like that, then there is possibility you are a Vajrayana practitioners. But if you don't feel like that, just attending some ceremonies or empowerment doesn't make you one. It only helps your ego to grow. You feel you are like a very high Vajrayana practitioner, and then you start to look down upon like normal beings, or maybe Hinayana practitioners, or maybe like here foundation vehicle practitioner, and it is not going to help you. So you have to be able to differentiate that. And then the last one is the 2 types of conduct. So the one is where you conduct yourself according to the Dharma, and then you help all the other sentient beings like that. So that is the first one. And then the second one is the lesser conduct, is where you are not able to help all the sentient beings, but you try to be good to yourself. You try to stay in your conduct, be in the conduct. And because of your actions, what you do from your body and speech and mind, people start to have more faith in the Dharma. So that is the lesser of the conduct. And these practices, the 4 digesting thing, and the 3 occupying the place, and these 2 types of conduct, we have to practice one of the digestive thing, one of the practicing. and then one of the contact. If we are doing that, then it means we are going on the right path and we are practicing. And if you check yourself and if you are not doing any of this, then it means that you are still not yet practicing properly, and there's still a long way to go to see improvement in your practice. So from the text, you will be able to know yourself what kind of practitioner you are instead of somebody else telling. But this text can be a very good guide in letting you know where you are in your practice. And then the next topic. So here again, after practicing on impermanence, knowing the impermanence and believing in impermanence, we should pay, or we should have a teacher, and we should take guidelines from the teacher. And whatever we do, we should, the merit that we receive from our practice, we offer to the teacher, or we dedicate to all the sentient beings. And then if we are able to do that, then when we are practicing meditation, so in the beginning, when we are practicing, we are able to focus when we are doing the meditation. And then as we practice on that, so not only when we are focusing during the meditation session, but even when we are not trying so much effort, we can still be in the meditation state for some time. And again, when we improve, then even without much effort, whether even if we are not in the meditation session, even when we are doing some activities, we can still continue with the meditation stage. And then page number 21. So again, after knowing the impermanence and practicing on impermanence, now you should arouse the Mayan attitude. And to summarize this practice, we have the three yogas: the yogas of mantra, the yoga of substance, and then the yoga of phenomena. And then from here, the first, the yoga of mantra, where you practice the practice of creation stage and completion stage, where you practice all those different kind of deities, and you visualize them inseparable from emptiness. You meditate them as like the embodiment of rainbow and all this. So this is the practice of yoga of mantra. And then the yoga of substance, where you believe truly that all this wealth, all this property, whatever you have, everything is inseparable from the dream. It is just an illusion. And when you believe that and when you practice that, that is like the yoga of substance. And even the yoga phenomena, where you practice that everything, all this phenomena is inseparable from the mind, or they are just like emptiness. That is the practice of yoga of phenomena. Yeah, I think we stop here for today.